I like the idea of the unknown. I like that these could create more questions than answers. I think there's so much that we're being fed that this is this and this is that. I like the idea that, oh, I don't know what this is. Like, what could it be? I've been using this one shape for a good amount of time now, and that's sort of the central part of my practice, is working with this shape both as a thing and now as a space, a keyhole as a space. It's like a ball with a stem, and it started out just sort of appearing in the work because I worked fairly, always abstractly, but kind of let the subconscious come in. I was working from poetry a few times, pulling imagery from poetry, and this shape kept coming out. I was working intuitively, and it was just sort of a recurring shape. So I started thinking about, what is this thing? And it was first a body, a head, and a body. It's very generic. It's kind of the perfect shape because it could be a body, it could be a microphone, it could be a tree. I worked with it as a thing. So trying to tell the viewer with paint and drawing that this thing is a three-dimensional, whatever those things are. I'm very much interested in using the color black and what can be done with it, especially with different kinds of like dark, like no reflection, and then with reflection, different textures, like sanded down. I just think there's a lot in there that you can explore with black. So in doing that, I started thinking about, oh wow, with that shape, with no light, it looks like a space. How can I do that with paint, where I'm really convincing the viewer that obviously it's a painting, but can I convince the viewer that this is a place that you could step into? The circles are also a thing that, I mean, way back, the work was very, very colorful and I would say action-packed. Everything was swirling, and that's how these shapes came to be, is like really came to be, because I was like, okay, I'm gonna speed down the velocity of these paintings and see what I could do with a singular form, but still keep the energy alive in there, like having the energy kind of embedded within the material, but slow down the movement. I took a trip to England with my family, to go see where my great-grandparents had lived, where they had met. I was looking at a lot of castles and religious spaces, and looking at old distressed metals, armor. And so I was thinking about this shape surrounded by histories and textures of like that buildup of weather, distressed metals, all kinds of distressed, like the passage of time on metal. And so that made its way into this painting in terms of texture. I'm looking for this to sort of sit on the raised surfaces so that it looks, this is like another layer of weather, is what I would imagine it to be. Like time passing, like distressed metal. It's some kind of specific metal that has been made somewhere. But this idea of these textures coming out because of this layer that's what I like. Now I'm thinking about it as making a sculpture where you can then paint it to look like it's also a space. So I've got these shaped, they look like keyholes that are body size. And I want it to look like I'm still painting it. Like technically I could cut a hole in the shape and say, yeah, you can walk through this. But I am such a painter that I wanna figure out how I can convince or just kind of play around with that idea of using paint to tell you, no, this actually could be a space, like a place that you could walk through. I always get this sense now, probably just because I've been working a long time, that the work is like making itself. I know that sounds a little bit kooky, but it's like the more you're engaged with it, it just replicates itself. Like the ideas replicate, and I try to be very conscious of what's going on and like what next steps can be, but I like making a big batch of stuff and then stepping back and looking at it and being like, okay, what's working and what's not. My reason for painting was always to create an illusion of something else. I just love that you can do that, like with drawing and painting. Even though like we know this is a two-dimensional surface, trying to convince someone that it's not. It's like this, it's just a never-ending kind of fun way to make work.